The story behind Valentine's Day has to be one of the weirdest things I've ever researched. Whipping people, murder, even Julius Caesar is involved. Saint Valentine. He was considered a martyr. Why was he considered a martyr? Because he was Christian, actually, and he was doing Christian marriages. And he was actually executed by the Romans. It seems actually that this holiday brings on a lot of violence. I'm sure you could find violence on every single day, but Saint Valentine was the patron saint of epilepsy, weird, and beekeepers. Yeah, he's an interesting guy, and his skull is in Rome with flowers around it. This also has ties in the Roman festival Lupercalia. So Lupercalia is a festival to honor the wolf goddess or Pan, which is a fawn. And it's also really fought about. Even back then, they like forgot what it was about. Much later, in the 15th century, this was modernized and romanticized by Shakespeare and who was the other one? Chaucer. And, in poetry, but really this was a festival of whipping women. So weird, but it was to cleanse. It was about cleansing and cleaning. It was about cleaning the land, cleaning your house, because it's wintertime. So they thought the spirits would run free. And it was said that there was matchmaking that was happening during this festival, during Lupercalia, but this is actually false. This was actually added in the 15th century in order to make it sound more romanticized. They would sacrifice this goat and this dog, and they would cut it into strips, and they would run around this mountain, this hill. It's really thought about where this might be. They run in an anti-clockwise rotation, so it obviously was a very specific ritual. This was probably rooted in folk traditions. But then these strips, once they went around the hill, were taken and used to beat the women so they would be fertile. It was typically noble families, and this was like, I imagine this was like an honor. It's just crazy how women throughout history always seem to get the tough time, the harsh time. I mean, honestly, I feel like not noble people usually get the tough time, but it was noble women that were having a really weird situation here where they're getting like whipped in a cave. And the blood of the animals would be put on their head. This is just crazy to me. But we have to understand that during this time period, things are just different. We have to understand that, they didn't have the internet, they didn't have modern medicine, they had only their senses, and they had only their traditions. So we can't really judge too harshly what they were doing, but the Romans were just an interesting people. After they were beat, they were asked to laugh. To laugh is to be jovial, and this honors the god Jove, which is Jupiter, by laughing. So everything has meaning. Everything is a practice, is a ritual. This isn't on an equinox, but it's getting ready for the spring equinox. It's in between Imbolc and Austera. Eventually, Pope Gelasius the First, he combined Lupercalia with St. Valentine's Day and basically really banned it, is what he did, and that's how it became combined. These whips were called februra, which is the same as February, because it meant to clean. It's from the Latin word to clean, and so are these whips. This whole thing is a ritual in cleaning. Maybe instead of eating chocolate, we should be cleaning our house. Now that you know the roots in Valentine's Day, do you think of it as a holiday about love?